In this video, we not only touched on the death of the great writer John Marsden, but we also have to highlight his ability to portray sympathetic characters and real teenage experiences. How he dealt with complex and sensitive issues, and promoted discussion and empathy. And the extent of his book's influence on young people, and ignited their love of reading. His contribution to promoting literacy and encouraging young writers. To clarify this, we will present some questions and responses that may enable us to wander inside the personality of the great Australian writer and to reach the values and principles of life and education that may serve as lessons learned for the coming youth. How did Marsden begin in his career? Marsden was born in 1950 and grew up in Kyneton, Victoria, and Devonport, Tasmania. His great-uncle was the Anglican colonial clergyman and judge, Reverend Samuel Marsden. Marsden's mother encouraged education and reading, so he was raised by Daniel Defoe, Ian Fleming, and Enid Blyton. When he was 10, the Marsdens moved to Sydney and he was sent to the King's School in Parramatta. Marsden wrote that he barely survived the strict school, having ignored or defied most of the school's rules during his years there, and spent his time in detention reading. In 1967, as a teenager, he wrote a letter to the school magazine criticizing the school's mayoral system, causing controversy and giving him an insight into the power of language. From the start, he set out to write for young people, having seen the burgeoning young adult genre in the United States. He completed his first full-length novel in just 3 weeks, So Much to Tell You, published in 1987, won numerous awards and is studied by countless Australian students. Over the next 40 years, he wrote and edited 40 books, including Letters from the Inside, The Rabbits and the hugely successful Tomorrow series, starting with Tomorrow, When the War Began. The 7 books in the series, published between 1993 and 1999, imagined a group of teenagers waging a guerrilla war against enemy forces surrounding their hometown of Wirrawee. How influential was he on Australian literature, especially young people's literature? Marsden founded 2 schools in regional Victoria, Candle Park near Romsey and Alice Miller in Macedon, and served as both headmasters. He said it was very important for young people to get their hands dirty, literally and figuratively. There's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of banter. There's a lot of serious conversation too. Sarita Ryan, the school's headmaster, said he was a real champion for children and young people who had a strong belief in them and looked up to them. John Marsden wanted young Australians to read more, and his writing helped him achieve that. He wrote with a lively, funny, distinctly Australian style, and he wrote with a real love for our land and a real sense of the character of our people. His was a great Australian voice that spoke to all ages, here and around the world. What were his most famous works and what was his writing style like? His most famous works include Marsden's 1993 novel Tomorrow, Where the War Began, about a hypothetical war in which Australia is invaded, making him one of Australia's most popular young adult novelists. Also, When the War Began and Dead of Night. His style is marked by a strong realism and an extraordinary ability to portray sympathetic characters and real teenage experiences. His writing is also marked by friendship, survival and resilience. How popular is he? His popularity and acclaim extend to the United States, where Tomorrow, Where the War Began appeared on the American Library Association's ALA list of best books for young adults in 1996. In 2000, the ALA ranked the book 41st on its list of the 100 best books for teens, published between 1966 and 2000. What is Marsden's legacy for young adults? In 2018, Marsden told the ABC about the books. The characters have a lot of weaknesses, but I wanted teenagers to realize that doesn't mean you don't have strengths. He said, I hope the Tomorrow series will be a message to young people that they are capable of great things. In Sweden, free copies of Tomorrow, When the War Began were given to hundreds of thousands of teenagers after it was voted the book most likely to inspire a love of reading. Marsden's legacy extends beyond his literary achievements. His work has shaped the Australian landscape of young people's literature, and his commitment to young people's development, both through his writing and his schools, will continue to inspire for years to come. What is the most famous and important message he left to people? In September 2021, John Marsden wrote a letter to the Post-Independent urging people to get vaccinated and keep communities immune to denial of scientific methods and truth. They said he was a big part of our Australian upbringing. A passionate teacher and a passionate collector of languages, his stories captured our imaginations. What did other writers think of Marsden? Renowned Australian children's author Andy Griffiths said Marsden was a passionate storyteller, educator and strong advocate for young people. His ability to connect with teenagers was truly phenomenal, and his dedication to expanding their imaginations and horizons through his best-selling books and innovative schools was inspiring, Griffiths said in a statement. I will miss his sense of humor, his sharp wit and his courage to speak his mind no matter who he offended or what the cost. Anatolitis said Marsden was generous with his time during her work with Express Media and in his efforts with the John Marsden Prize and Hachette Australia for young writers. She wrote, "He was a constant source of inspiration and encouragement as our patron, generously funding a new prize for young writers. We didn't always agree, but I always knew his ethics were genuine." What was his approach to tackling complex topics? John's contribution to young people's literature was revolutionary. His unflinching candor in addressing complex and sensitive topics and his compassion in discussing sensitive issues resonated with readers worldwide and earned him an enduring popularity across generations, earning him numerous awards including the Children's Book Council of Australia's Book of the Year Award. What did parents think of John? John Marsden's vision of education left an indelible mark on children and countless others. His passion for fostering creativity, resilience and curiosity shaped schools and lives. He is a true pioneer whose legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. He stated that education must include intellectual and emotional growth. He often reflected on the challenges and rewards of school management, likening it to his former work in the emergency department, and emphasized the importance of getting your hands dirty, both literally and figuratively. In short, as we reflect on his life and work, we can take solace in the thought that John Marsden, through his passion and dedication, enriched the lives of so many young readers and teachers alike. His passing is a moment of sad for all who admired him, but his great contributions to literature and education will remain immortal. And about the lessons learned through the career of the great writer. It is necessary to highlight the importance of reading for young people, and eradicating illiteracy in society, and encouraging young writers, and we should focus on shaping the minds of young people. The importance of John Marsden's contribution to Australian literature. Rest in peace, great writer. Finally, if you liked the video, I hope you support me by liking, commenting and subscribing to the channel.